Good morning, children. Hope you all had a wonderful Diwali and a good vacation. Now we are back in the second term. So this is the poem in your MCB textbook, Dear Mom by Brian Batten. Coming to the poet, this poem, Dear Mom, is written by the poet Brian Batten. So he is an English poet and as well as an author also, and he came to prominence in the 1960s. And mostly, if we have noticed or if we have observed his works, we can find that he has written about human relationships. Coming to our very poem itself, our poem called Dear Mom, this poem itself, you can see from the title itself, like talking about the relationship between mom and his son. And Patton's poems appeal to both children and adults. He's a great example of the importance of keeping a childlike wonder when looking at the world and in holding on to the ability to dream and imagine. Yes, so this is another, very important thing, or what you call the trademark, we can say, in his poetry. We can see, like, in most of his poem, he keeps a wonder, and that is to, like, a childlike wonder itself. And when looking at the world, like, he shows the poem through his poem, he shows the perspective of a child as well as that of an adult, the innocence of children can be easily noticed through his poems. Okay, so now we can see more about this poem. So now I assume that you might have gone through the poem, you might have read it thoroughly. So if you have read the poem, you can see, like, the very title itself, it is like Dear Mom. From the addressing, from that very addressal itself, we can see that it is just like a kind of letter to mom by her son, or just a kind of note to his mom, or it is just a kind of message to mom. Okay, so now in this poem, it is all about the innocence of a child, like, toddlers, we would say, like 3 to 4 year old kids, like how they manage, how they behave, they do many things, and after that, in order not to get any shouting from their parents, what they hide all these mischievous things, all the things that they have done. Or they will put the, or you can, if you have younger ones at your home, you can notice, like, they put the blame on someone else, like, so many times it will be very easy. It is very easy for parents to understand that who has done that mistake, but they still put the blame on somebody else. Sometimes they'll be putting blame on the like if they are talking to the mummy, they will put the blame on the father. Sometimes they will put the blame on the brother, just like that. So in this poem also, there is a child, and he does a lot of things. Okay, like he broke a blue vase, and then he tells, like, it was done by ghost and not by him. And he like he goes out and play, and then he that markings, that footprints will be, he takes it to home, he enters the home without washing his legs. So all these things he does, and finally he put, and in the letter, like, he puts all these blames on here, the ghost, like he says, like, no, the house is haunted, that's why all these things happened. Actually, he explores each and everything at the place. And in the beginning of the poem, the child talks in a poetic manner and addresses his mom, that the cup automatically, that he says, like, self got out and broke itself. It was his plan to hide the actual thing, that it was broken by himself. And so his mother might feel that he is not lying, and so talks in a poetic manner, which creates innocence. And now, when I say, like, innocence, it is like only in the beginning of the stanzas you can find this innocence. Gradually, when we move towards the poem, we feel like, he is not innocent, actually he is guilty. Okay. Okay, now we can see about the poem. see the title, as I had already about the title, I had already explained it in the previous slide. Now coming to the poem, we can see like, while you were out, a cup went and broke itself. A crack appeared in the blue vase your great-great-granddad brought back from Mr. Ming in China. So here itself, see children, you can see like this poem is pretending to be a letter. This is just like a letter, as it is addressed dear, and the letter is addressed to his mother, dear mom, and the writer of the letter, it is a child, and you here it gives like, you know, it means mom. While you were out, when the mother has gone out, the cup automatically, like, you know, self, it went down and it broke itself. And then he says like, you know, suddenly a crack also appeared in the blue vase, and there is something very special about this blue vase because it is brought by the great-great-granddad from Mr. Ming in China. Now so these two things happen. Now you know, the mom will know that it is impossible for a cup to break itself because she's a grown-up woman, but still the child is making these kind of explanations. But here our protagonist means what, who, the hero is a child, okay, and the child is responsible. She will obviously come to know of this thing. So too is he responsible for everything, like, you know, to turn on the tap, to stain the wall, everything. See, in the second lines you can see like, somehow without me even turning on the tap, the sink mysteriously overflowed. So there was something mystery happening. He is using these kind of terms. It started overflowing and the whole, you know, kitchen was filled with water. And then he is telling like, you know, then he has eaten jam also. That's why it is said a strange jam stain also appeared on the wall, and it was that you know, that stain had the size of a boy's hand. Then he describes the series of events that he has done in her absence. Like, there are many things that he describes. He says like, you know, the cat, he put the cat inside the washing machine. Then he put the rabbit also in the waste disposal unit. Then he went out to play in the mud. So he explains each and everything. So he says like, you know, I don't think we will ever discover exactly how the cat managed to turn on the washing machine. So washing machine. So he says like, you know, each and everything has that is especially from inside. He put this cat also inside the washing machine and he turned it on also. And he put this blame on cat, and then he put rabbit also in the waste disposal unit, and then he went out to play in the mud. Then he is telling that after these events, he says like, he was scared. I can tell you, I was scared when, as if by magic, a series of muddy footprints appeared. Okay, so he's telling that even I was scared when all these things started happening itself. There is some mystery behind this, and there is like, you know, the house is haunted. So even I was scared. So these all things was written in the letter, and he is actually explaining the series of events that happened. Now you can see like, now he you know, he puts a mask of such a good boy, like when he says like, I was being good, but I think the house is haunted, so knowing you are going to have a fit, I have ever gone over to Grant's for a bit. So in the last lines, the tone of the poem, it describes the tone of the poem here. It is actually innocent, and when we, as I had already explained, the more when we reach the last stanza, we can realize that they are guilty. Okay, and there is no strict rhyme scheme, no strict verse form also, and the poet does end his poem with a rhyming couplet. Okay, which just finishes it off with a flourish. Like the last two lines, like when he says like, knowing you are going to have a fit, I have ever gone over to Grant's for a bit. Okay, so fit, bit. So that is the couplet, like two lines. Rhyming couplet means two lines, and that is of rhyming words here only used. Nowhere else in the poem the rhyming words has not been used. So fit, bit. So this is and then the poet knows, like, his mom is going to be angry and she will punish him after seeing all these things. So he went to his grandpa to save himself. So that is the summary of the poem. And this is such a simple poem, you can read it yourself. But about this rhyme scheme in the couplet and everything, just read it once again. So children, here are a set of questions. You can check it yourself whether you are able to answer it. So this is just to check your skills, like, what happened to the blue vase? Was the vase precious to the mother? Why? So it is like, what happened to it? Like the boy says, like, the crack appeared on it. And was it precious to the mother? Yes, it was, of course, precious to the mother. Why? Because it was brought by her grandfather. Like it is said, like great grandfather. Now, where is the cat? The cat was put inside the washing machine. How do you think it got there? The boy might have put the cat inside the washing machine. Whose footprints are on the carpet? The footprints were of that boy itself. Is the house really haunted? No, it was not. Why do you think so? Because, and here you can write it is an open-ended question. You can write it yourself. It is not haunted. All these events that are described in this poem are done by this boy only. Does the boy think his mother will believe him? How can you tell? Okay, now again you can see, like, whether she would be. Yes. Does the boy the child thinks, like, does the boy think that his mother will believe him? No, the boy also does not think that the mother will believe him. That's why, in order to say, because the last couplet makes it very clear, and it is because of that, the boy is going to his grandfather's house to save himself. Okay, the boy went to his grand's house because he knew that the mother would have a fit when she entered the house. And the sixth one, do you think the boy is clever? The boy is clever as well as naughty. And give a reason for your answer. So you can have n number of reasons here. So here you can see, like, the power of imagination of this boy. It actually helps him to write the letter to his mother. And it is the boy who did all the mess in the house, and he went to his grandparents' house also in fear to be caught by his mother. And then, should children be allowed to be mischievous? Yes, of course, children should be allowed to be mischievous. However, there should be regular check on them by the parents, else they would go out of hand, right? Because and of course it would harm them also. So there should be a regular check on them. Yes, of course, everything has got a limit. Next one, what would you do if you were in your mother's place and you returned home and realized, like, what had happened? So for this question we had the discussion in the class also, like, some people, as you people had already said, I would have a good laugh on reading the letter, and then I would clean up the mess. And some people, as they describe, as they said, like, they will warn him, they will give him a warning. And some people, as you said, I would talk to him, you people will talk to and will like, you should not play or you should not touch this valuable things. Now we can see the different devices that are used by the poet in this poem to make it more attractive. Okay, so in this poem you can see, like, children, he has used different kinds of imagery, and we have already done this imagery in different lessons also. So this is just a quick revision on imagery. So imagery, it is the use of words that it will be appealing our senses, like our different senses. So there is visual imagery, it will be appealing to our eyes. Okay, to the sight. Auditory imagery, like, which will appeal, it will be related to that of the sound, it will be appealing to our ears. Tactile imagery, just like that of a kind of touch. Gustatory imagery, just like that of taste. Okay, so we had many kind of this kind of imagery in the poems that we had learned so far. Kinesthetic imagery is something new here, which will be related to that of movement. And then olfactory, which is that of smell. Now, this is one activity that this was one activity that was given to you, that where you need to describe a few images created in the poem. So here you can see like most of the lines it is in visual imagery only, like the overflowing sink, jam stain on the wall, cat in the washing machine, muddy footprints on a new white carpet. So all these things. Apart from this, we have personification also. So personification also we have described, that is in especially in the selfish giant, right? So it is giving human qualities or human attributes to a non-human thing. It is called personification, and we already came across many many sentences with personification in the selfish giant. And here also we can say like the self-breaking cup, because the cup cannot break itself. So here the self-breaking cup, magically appearing jam stains, self-cracking vases. So all these things. Personification is when you give human qualities and human characteristics to an object, animal or idea. So this is the explanation of the poem. Notes had already been uploaded in the respective channel. Please go through it. Thank you.